Evening, this is the regular meeting of the Bethany Board of Finance being held March 11th, 2025 in the Selectmen's Conference Room at the Bethany Town Hall. All members of the Board of Finance are present, as well as our executive assistants.
HR administrator and executive assistant.
Thank you. That keeps changing. Our accounting bookkeeper, Jen Burbank, our first selectman, Paula Go-Francesco, our town attorney, Vin Marino, and our finance director, Leslie Blatchko. Okay, the first item on our agenda is public comment. We have a member of the public here. Are you here to talk?
I'm here for the municipal waste.
Oh, well, we're going to go into executive session for a while.
So that means I need.
Unless we're leaving.
Unless what?
Unless we relocate to the.
Yeah, we'll go down the hall.
Okay.
Okay, so you can stay here and hang out and have a coffee.
Yeah.
Well, we don't exactly have a Keurig here, so. All right, then, the next item on our agenda is to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. Would somebody please make the motion? And we would want to include our first select woman, our finance director, and our town attorney, and Ms. Capasso. Can someone make that motion, please?
Is that
All right, John Grabowski made the motion, Sally Heiser seconded. Those in favor? Okay. This is your Board of Finance meeting resuming at 8:23 p.m. and picking up on our agenda where we left off. We have discussion and possible action to act on the creation of new job descriptions. Do I have a motion? Do you want to read them out? To create.
What's that?
To create and fund.
Yeah. To create and fund the two job descriptions as presented to us, along with the salary guidelines.
In the 24.
They're in the budget.
Yeah, in the budget.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a second for that? Oh.
Second.
I'm sorry. Would someone please modify that and forward it to the Board of Selectmen?
Can make an adjustment and to forward it to
It's
the
all
Board
right
of
with you?
Selectmen.
All right, and who
It's our
seconded?
recommendation.
And who seconded? Lars, okay, is it all right with you? Okay. Okay, so the motion in front of us is to approve them, fund them in the budget as discussed and as shown in the draft of the budget, and to also forward them to the Board of Selectmen. Those in favor?
Are we gonna have discussion?
Oh, okay, sure. I thought we discussed. Yes, go for it.
So I just want to, we talked about, you mentioned we are going to send them to the Board of Selectmen. I would like that letter, or however that memo is communicated to the Board of Selectmen, to identify the personnel policies and things that need to be addressed that have not been addressed. And identify those as things that have not been that as you identify, provide a duty to act and are putting the town in a position, a risky position for the town. So I think that I want all of those identified. During the meeting, we talked about that there are no personnel policies, that there aren't no, did I say something wrong?
Stuff that was talked about in the executive session.
Okay,
came
so
up.
identify the deficiencies that are currently in place. I would like that to be included in the memo that is provided to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone?
I agree.
Yeah. I think we all agree. I will also attend that meeting in person.
Hmm?
I'll also attend that. Well, I usually do attend the Board of Selectmen meetings. So
I might too. Might be a fun one.
What, can we talk about the timing on when you were gonna send that, when that memo would be sent? I think I was a little confused. I thought that it would be before Friday, but maybe that it won't be in relation to the before Friday. I might have misunderstood the
Well,
timing.
No, like their meeting is just before the budget hearing. If we had not going to be fund or we're going to do something other than publish the budget as we had it, it would have had to be done, I don't know, on an emergency basis with the selectmen. I don't know how many special meetings.
I wasn't proposing a
they can have-
meeting. I just
Oh.
thought that we were going to send something to them before Friday.
If we can, well, as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay, what has to be done by Friday is, like I'll do a cover letter for the town and all of the budgets have to go.
We have
They
to.
all have to
yeah,
be
The
set up
the
for print.
notice needs to be ready to go out for the budget hearing by the end of this week.
No, I understood. I thought that
Okay.
we were going to
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
letter before
That's,
then.
but
So, okay, I'm,
if at all possible, it will be forwarded by Friday or no later than Friday.
and will the members of the Board of Finance receive that memo?
Of course.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, approving,
No, we have to vote. We gotta vote.
oh, sorry, those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, it was unanimous. The minutes of the February 11th meeting. And everyone was there except for John. Can I get a motion so that we can discuss? I'll make the motion. Thank you. Do I have a second?
1 second. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. All right, any
Don't
discussion on the February 11th minutes? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And John is abstaining. Then the special meeting on February 18th. And we were all there but John, so. Thank you. Yep. Do you have a second?
1 second.
Thank you. And any discussion on this one? No, none, there being actually nothing to discuss. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Then,
You will say again?
what?
I just asking if you abstain.
Oh, yes.
So is 6 a no-go?
Nope, Eric is online. Eric, can you unmute yourself? Thank
Hear
you.
me?
He's gonna give us,
Gives a very quick summary.
yes,
please.
he's going to give us a very brief summary of what is.
Good evening. On last Tuesday at the Board of Selectmen, I presented on behalf of the Solid Waste and Recycle Committee about some of the findings that we had done in our review of the recycling activities which are currently going on. Much of the data that I want to talk about came straight from the files in Finance Department. Key piece is that we currently have a handshake agreement with the hauler to service the recycle facility. What we have posed to the Board of Selectmen is that we actually put it out as an RFP to various haulers in order to better serve the needs of the town. As a few examples of what we have seen, is that over the last 3 years, hauling costs have increased by between 13 and 24%. The cost for commingled, which is sort of the single stream, the plastics and metals, has increased by 28% over the last 4 years. Mixed paper costs have increased by 23% over the last 4 years. None of those have been negotiated. Probably the lowest hanging fruit would be scrap metal. We're getting paid a few dollars a ton for that. And we're also paying for it to be taken away. Scrap metal dealers will pay spot prices and pick up for free and pay, over $100 a ton. Cardboard, we currently get nothing. Baled cardboard spot price right now is $77 a ton. Unbaled is less. Mixed paper, we currently are paying $92 a ton. Baled mixed paper spot price right now is $35 a ton. Again, unbaled is less. Probably one of our big issues is bulky waste. We're currently paying for curbside, we're currently paying $85 a ton for tipping fees. At bulky waste, we're paying $300 a ton for disposal. So, we're encourage people to take things to bulky waste, and yet we're paying 4 times as much as we would if they just threw it into their bins.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
would you please clarify that, Eric, because we don't pick up bulky waste.
At the recycle center,
Oh,
we have a bulky
okay.
waste container. And
Yes.
what we pay there is over $300 a ton.
Yes, I'm sorry, I thought you meant that we did like some other towns do where they pick it up curbside. All right,
No,
by the way, just so you know, we all have a copy of your presentation slides.
so yeah, I'm not going to go over them in detail. Basically, and to be fair, we are not looking at any changes to budget for the upcoming budget year because we have none of this in place right now. What we are proposing is that we put out an RFP and start getting this in place for next year, but for the budget year, it would be the following year.
Would it actually, wouldn't it be possible to implement most of these during the fiscal year because there are no contracts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But in terms of budgeting, since we don't know what those numbers are going to be, I would hate to see us either reduce line items, based on what we hope we can achieve. But you're absolutely right. I mean, we could implement them right away. Right now, as I mentioned, we have a handshake agreement, and that's really pretty common in the industry. So, but we should review that periodically, and that's what the recycle committee did over the last 3 months.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone have questions and specifically that you could ask? I really appreciate the extent of the work that you did and the information that you're providing, because it's going to make it hopefully possible for the town to save money. So John, this is your area of expertise. Any
Yeah,
questions, comments?
no, I get a lot more than even what's listed here. And I deal with salvage every day. That's what I do with all our product we can't sell, or once I break down all our product that I can scrap. So I think it's definitely worth it. I just don't know what you're gonna get out of an RFP. That's gonna be the tough one. Because we do, gentlemen, we have a handshake agreement with all of ours. And I've been with mine since I've been there for 6 years doing this. And but I pay no haul fees and they pay me to get the product. And I'm just looking at these things and the numbers that I was just playing with just now. And I think you could even get more than this. Much. And these prices are going up, like scrap metals at all, is really high right now. For the past couple of years. Cardboard you used to pay to get rid of, now you're getting money back for it, and it's gonna go up again next month. So I think it's definitely worth us looking into that and seeing what we can do. And you can always check with different vendors how they do it. I mean, I don't pay for any of my containers. I mean, granted, I do,
Your
you know,
volumes.
40 yard, yeah, I do 340 yards of metal a week. And cardboard, I do one load of. 50, I go max, probably 45,000 pounds of cardboard a month. But the pricing is definitely going up and it's worth it. So I think it's definitely worth looking into and doing something with that.
John, I have a question. Would it be better for the recycling committee to look into handshake agreements with other vendors as opposed to a formal RFP?
It's, what I do is I call, like, if we do a project and I've got to do I took a state building and they had a ton of scrap metal. So I just called all the local metal firms who gave me the best deal to drop 40-yard containers, haul them for free, and what are they gonna give me per weight? And then I just called all the ones in that local area, like right now you can call Sims, Alderman Dow, whoever else, and then I got prices from them all, and I just go with the best one. I just say, all right, send me an email with the agreement, and then I take it from there.
Okay.
But it's definitely worth, I mean, probably calling around.
But those are jobs specific and very large quantities.
Oh, they
Right.
still would do my projects, which,
Of small and.
yeah, just,
Okay.
you know, in a month, I said, all right, I can fill, 40-yard containers 2 a week. So that's 8, and they'll say, all right, here's what we'll do. And sometimes they'll even give you a better deal than I have at work. So it's definitely a little worth looking into, but we should definitely not be paying to get it hauled out and getting nothing for it. That's crazy.
Okay,
Cause trash is going up and up and up. The numbers that I see that we're getting charged, even both might be a little high. It depends. As long as we're crushing it down with the loader and things like that, that would help our cause, and just making sure we do that so you get the most out of each haul. But trash is very comparable to what we're paying. And I have a lot of trash. I mean, I'm doing 7 to 10 ton each container once a day.
once a day.
Yep.
Yeah,
And so I think I would get a break, but we're actually getting a pretty good deal compared to what I'm getting.
We, the
from the
town,
town.
is getting good.
Yes,
Okay.
it's not really way over. I thought it would be, significantly different. It isn't.
Are there any thoughts from this committee on how to encourage more recycling and reduction of actual trash consumption or trash in the bins?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that we looked at was trying to get sort of the town's house in order, to make sure that what if we're encouraging recycling and yet we're paying too much to get rid of it or not getting enough for it, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I mean, part of the committee's charge is to actually increase recycle rates. And we do need to work through and figure out how to do that.
We do have 10% of the households that have purchased or whatever they do with RWS for the recycling bins. So every other week, recycling gets picked up curbside at those households. They pay privately, as opposed to when we tried to implement it townwide for everyone. So in the hopes of increasing recycling efforts, but we do have 10% just over 200 households that do currently pay RWS for the curbside recycling.
So Eric, do your numbers for recycling include the RWS
They do not.
collections for recycling?
They do not.
Yes, they do.
And we've actually asked RWS for those numbers. They're a little bit tricky because when RWS picks up, they don't only pick up from Bethany. And, they will pick up from neighboring towns, and when they report to the state, they don't necessarily report that this is Bethany's, pickup. So we don't actually have good numbers from what is picked up in the curbside recycle.
I thought that we were promised that we would get numbers from them. But I'm like, we had lots of meetings, so I don't remember. Okay,
We have asked.
I'm sure you have, yeah, okay.
Just one further point, I mean, the handshake agreement versus the RFP. I mean, I would imagine that if we got to the point of an MOU, that would probably be sufficient. That's sort of a handshake agreement, but it's a little bit more formal. Just, something that we have in paper that's saying, you're agreeing to pick up, this particular recycle stream.
Yeah, I could see that somehow there being that kind of an agreement with the price fluctuating. Because that's what it is, their spot prices.
Yeah, every week metal could change.
Yeah,
Same with cardboard, same everything there you're dealing with. So that's a tough part when
Yeah.
for the contract.
But we need a guaranteed
Yeah.
hauler.
Oh, and they would do that. They would commit to that, I think. And they're always asking me if I know anyone else who wants to get picked up, especially the one that I'm using right now.
Mm.
So I know that they would have an interest in like a town. I mean, I could just ask them on a whim. Hey, if you pick up a small town, this and that, what do you charge? What can you offer and that kind of thing? And they would tell me in a second.
We actually have talked to 3 metal scrap dealers already, and they're all would be excited about servicing Bethany.
Yeah, because they're gonna make, even if they pay you 6 cents, they're still making a lot. I know they're making a ton off of that.
Amazing. I'm really glad that you've done the research and then it sounds like John might be able to give you some additional information.
Could Bethany
Absolutely.
do something like Woodbridge with the water authority? And then collecting like the hazardous materials?
Yeah, we do.
We're part of that.
We are
We're
part of that.
the regional thing.
We are part of
Because-
that regional.
Now,
And
do-
we are going to have a satellite. They are coming here.
In September. I think?
Cause I went up
Yeah.
with old compound that was hard as a rock. And it was as if I was like committing a crime up there. I was like, oh my God. They're like, oh, it's hazardous. Oh my God, you can't put that in here. Put it back in the truck. I was like, oh,
Yeah, you can
it's already hardened. It's ruined. So, and then, then you call Woodbridge and they're like, oh yeah, we take paint and we take this and we take that and we take this every week.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was very convenient. I was like, man.
But we can take our stuff to Woodbridge and then the town will get billed for it.
Oh, so that's why, I don't wanna do that.
No, the town will get billed for it.
Even if
anyway.
you bring it down to, was it Sergeant Drive, I think?
Yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
go with all my stuff, even
Right.
from work,
Yeah.
Good.
the men in white suits.
Okay, do we have anything else for Eric?
I don't think so.
No,
No, very
Yeah,
good.
thank you for all your work.
Yeah, very, thank you.
Good night.
Okay.
Good night,
thanks,
Eric.
Good night.
Good night.
Not here.
Okay. It's nice to get some good news about something
Yeah.
that worked well. Okay, Leslie, it's
Number time?
numbers time.
Okay, expense reports are attached, our year-to-date expense reports. There are a few manual adjustments on them, like on page 3. Right now,
Note
the
page numbers?
legal.
Note the page number. Yes, I like that.
This week.
It, like, under the town council, like the legal, it says that the computer's telling us we are at 145% of budget. But it does not reflect the additional appropriation. I hand wrote it in so that you could see the actually where we are, which is only at 69%.
Okay.
I made that adjustment on every department that had an additional appropriation or a transfer of significant findings to change where we were. So overall, Right now, the budget is at 70% spent. I am not concerned with that. The end of March would be the 3/4 mark, which is 75%, and there are several large item annual appropriations in the budget that are paid for in full as of now on this. I.e. the fire department, the library, those are there's 3 very large installments there, and they are all paid in full. Revenue is looking very good. We are sitting at 93% of budget. The large areas where we still have significant income coming in this year is ECS. We have only received half of the money, but that is standard operating procedure for the state. We receive our ECS money 3 times a year. The 31st of October, the 31st of January, and the 30th of April. And the 30th of April is half of our money.
There was also an extra 16,000 that was coming from the state, last month, the communications from CCM and cost. When they, announced additional funding.
I have not seen it yet. That doesn't mean it's not coming.
I'll send it to you.
Well, there's a difference between when a governor announces that the money is coming to you and when we actually
Yes,
receive it.
yeah, I understand that, but I just think that there should be a little bit more coming.
Yeah. And then the other item on there is just an update on our ARPA spend and what is still encumbered.
Gotcha. Thank you. So we still have 58,000 to pay out.
Yes,
Are we earning interest on that 58,000?
yes. But it's, at this point, it's very small.
So we don't want to have to file.
Uh,
Okay,
No, we'll be fine.
okay.
All right.
Transfers.
Next up is transfers. There's 2 transfer requests. The first is $45,368.87 from our fiscal year 24 close. That was the dollar amount left over in the budget line item for Amity. It's the difference between what was appropriated and what they actually required us to pay because of the way they returned their surplus to us, which is their surplus, you use it in air quotes. They return it to us in a reduction in our March payment. So I am asking that the Board of Finance allow us to move it from our unassigned general fund, which is where it gets rolled into at the end of the fiscal year, to the assigned general fund to allow us to use it for future educational purposes.
Which would mean that we would be using it towards a reduction in the appropriation that we would have to make for Amity.
Correct.
That less than what they're adopted, what the
Correct.
referendum adopts.
Yeah.
Do I have a
I'll move.
motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That was unanimous. And then the second one?
The second one is to move $7,000 from contingency to the fire marshal software support for the new fire reporting software. Because remember, the
Yep.
fire department and the fire marshal presented that at budget season. I have attached the 3 quotes that they have received and an email from Brent Ciccarelli, the assistant chief, explaining their rationale for going with AFD. The $7,000 allows the fire department and the fire marshal to move forward immediately with this implementation. Which will then because it also provides the shortest time period for backfill for them. For the new company, because it would only be 3 months of data for this year. which they feel will help them long-term because it'll be easier to have a whole year's worth of data in there as opposed to trying to backfill 6 or 8 months if we wait until the new fiscal year to implement.
Makes sense. That's why we have money in contingency. No things I have a motion.
I'll move it.
Thank you. That was John. Discussion. They came to us, they explained it.
Yep.
Mhm, good, okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. No.
On to the big one of the night, budget.
Well, but there's an assumption in here
Yes.
about the subsidy, about a subsidy that we had not discussed with them. And we're looking at the mill rate.
Oh, yeah, well,
Okay, go.
yeah, share screen. And hopefully I can do this without the extra.
You want the revenues or the expenses here?
I was gonna do this.
Whichever one you want.
I'm hoping I can do a share.
Hmm.
Oh, come on.
If you do the revenues, that's simpler, unless you're bringing the other one up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to share my screen. It's not letting me.
Says you are screen sharing.
I am. Okay,
At
good,
the top, it says it.
good. Let's see if it's gonna bring up revenue. No, it's not.
Oh, hold
Well,
on.
give it a minute.
Looked like something was trying to pop up.
Yeah, I don't.
Give it a minute.
Oh, come on.
Well, we have this in front of us. And not the, I mean, the expenditures are one thing, but the revenues are all on one sheet of paper.
Yep.
Looks like
Stop
this.
here for a minute and I'll try it again.
What page number is that?
It is going to be after page 40. It should be the last attachment on it.
Yes. It says page 1 of 1 because.
This is the last page of the packet, right?
Yes, the last page of the second packet.
Lots is for that one.
Lindsay, if I make you a co-host, do you think it will be good?
That might be able to do, that might do it.
I just need your co-host.
It's not, I signed in. Oh, it's not opening.
Well,
All right. The revenue, as we all know, the top line, the property taxes is always the largest line. The largest dollar amount, but it's the plug number.
we back into it.
We
after.
back into it at the end. The revenue takes into account all the revenue streams and sources that we have traditionally received from the state, what they have told us we are going to receive, and what the departments feel they can generate. That's where all the revenues come from. The item on this that is different this year, it's not that it hasn't appeared there before, but different, is I have a $600,000 general fund subsidy in there, which would be a mill rate support with taking funds out of our current general fund for it.
But there's also the 429,000 that goes to zero. Which is.
Well, that is correct. That is,
Vehicle number.
the motor vehicle number is gone because we
because we're not gonna get it anymore.
What's the 407?
429, it's about a third of the way down, and then there's a blank over on the right.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing.
Mhm.
And that's because of the difference that the state was giving us a year after the fact, the difference between the capped motor vehicle tax rate and our mill rate. But because our mill rate last year was below the state cap, there's no subsidy this year. So that's 429. I mean, basically, we didn't get it last year, so we get to get the year before last. So we got it last year.
Okay, I have a question on the park and rec.
Yes.
There's all these fees listed for summer camp, before and after program. We don't have a director.
All of the numbers presented in the budget for expenses and revenues were derived from a collaboration between the Park and Rec Commission's hopes and ambitions and past practice, past history. I sat with an individual that has knowledge about, I mean, how many realistic numbers, the number of kids that have attended, how long they're there, the whole, what to expect, what not to expect. This is, I would say the numbers in here for revenue are the best case scenario. The numbers that are in for the expenses are worst case scenario if everything is fully funded and fully enrolled and engaged as anticipated. That doesn't, because we don't know. Right now, there's still an unknown. What I do know is that we have sufficient time between now and May 19th town meeting to make the appropriate reductions on both sides of the budget for Park and Rec.
But if we don't put it out there for the budget hearing, then we can't have it for
The town meeting.
the town meeting. And then should there be programs, there's no money for them.
Mhm.
So this is the most conservative way to go, is to budget as if they're gonna happen, right?
And I would hope that, things change in the next 2 or 3 weeks. That we can say definitively, this has been looked at by someone that's going to leading the helm, running the department. But right now, I can't say that with absolute certainty.
I didn't fully understand what you said. I just want to understand, that's all,
Okay.
about, this is like conservative and the other one's optimistic, or can you explain to me what
Okay.
that meant, like?
All right, the revenue. Do I have?
Are the assumptions not the same, for example?
Well, the assumptions are the same.
Okay.
The assumptions are the same on both sides, but the assumption is 125 kids for summer camp for 10 weeks. Both revenue and expenses. So that's the best case scenario on revenue. And it's the worst case scenario on expenses. Because maybe we only have 50 kids for 5 weeks. And then we only need counselors for 5 weeks, and we've budgeted for 10. So
I
both
understand that.
both sides could be over budgeted at the moment.
Mhm.
But we're choosing to take the worst case scenario, the most aggressive on revenue and the most conservative on expenses. Right now, a conservative from a standpoint of not needing to go back and ask for additional appropriated funds.
And, the revenue numbers match the programs themselves, so they're self-funded.
Yes, if we look at if you look at the detail, which I did not attach this week, I can pull it up. I just can't shoot it up on the screen right now.
It's okay.
Um,
I have it from before.
yeah, it does show that the revenue for the summer camp and the before and after program is equal to or in excess of the cost associated with it.
Excluding the salary of the director,
Only only the director.
because there's, program.
The program manager, program coordinator,
Something like
whatever, yeah.
that would be,
That would also
The
be
hours are
covered,
covered
that would also
the
be covered
program.
in the fees for the program. I believe when I made up the last numbers, I will stand corrected. The only other item that is not covered would be the cost of the software to run all the programs. I mean, I think it worked out to the director's salary plus that, which was very, I mean, that's as close as we've never come that close at budget time when we put the revenue and expenses together.
what would the impact be to the general fund with the 600,000?
Minimal. I mean, it's 600,000 coming out.
Yeah.
But having said that, last year, that I was just pulling up the audit to find where,
We're at 27%.
Right?
yeah,
Which is just a bit, just a little over the. No.
yeah, last
Yeah.
year's surplus was 1.2. So we're taking out half of the surplus that was put in last year. And the auditors also assigned the 182, so we're actually taking, of last year's 1.2, we're actually taking out almost 800 of it, because they assigned the 180 or 180 some odd thousand that we needed to fund the reboot of the recycling center, which we appropriated last year from the general fund without impacting the mill rate. So that was assigned at the end of the fiscal year. So that's not, so that portion, so 200 of the 1.2 million surplus didn't roll into the general fund. Only 1 million of it rolled into the general fund. So we're taking 600 of that out to support the mill rate this year. That's the proposal, to take that much out to support it. The other areas on the budget that I think we should talk about, on the consolidated budget, the Amity budget is showing at 2.43% with a need of $8.983 million, which is page 40.
Oh. It's the. On mine, it's the last.
It might be the last page.
Right.
Amity met last night. And their budget, which was at an overall increase of 3.16%, is down to 2.93. So that number
Mine
decreases.
says 4.3.
Mine does too, 2.43.
Okay, well,
Oh, that's what
that's
we-
our change, not the overall region change.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
This
Um,
is when we take out the part that we're still holding. from previous.
The transfer you just approved.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
so our portion that they're asking for this year was $9.166 million. It is now down to 9.160. So that number has come down about $6,000. So the percentage on that, the change on that is at 2.36%. not 2.43. If you would like the exact dollar amount, it is 897710. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry, I'm reading the 8983,115.
Oh, that's on my paper.
Yeah, I started reading what was on the paper, not what was on the computer screen. Is 89771009.
And Woodbridge once again took the biggest hit on an increase because of an additional proportional increase, because they're pushing new students into the system for census, and we only put, I think, put a couple in this last year, which will impact next year.
Yeah,
Someday our turn will come.
yes, yeah.
So go back to the front page.
Go back to the front page. Well, now, after that, we're going to go to the IT budget, because
Okay.
we briefly touched on that before. It's page 13.
Thank you for remembering.
Well, I heard what Sally said.
Yeah, great.
I heard what
The
Sally
dates
said,
are-
so I numbered them
Very
all.
useful.
The date is on them too, so you
Which
don't
is
have.
nice.
you don't have to go to-
Page number's more important,
Yes.
I think.
Yes, right.
That's great.
If the
All right,
parents-
we can make some adjustments to this page. Under contracted, under the network support, the contracted services,
Mhm.
the number in this budget is $55,000. We can reduce that, we have to increase that. There's a reason why we have to increase it, because we did not have the additional support that was proposed on, like, in that big box down below, added into the contract. We knew the contract would be going up, but we did not budget for all the additional hours initially when the budget was presented to us. So I'm proposing that we increase that line from 55 to 68, adding the $13,000 in there that we need to have one of Novus's technicians on site 4 hours every week.
So it's going from 55 to what?
To 68.
That's one person, 4 hours, once a week.
Yes,
I
But
don't
every-
understand how the increase is only going up 18K, or sorry, not even 13K, if they were like every other week for an hour.
they were like every other week for 2 hours. That is the proposal that we have from them. For every on-site 4 hours every week.
But it's the same dollar amount as last, oh no, 68.
It's 68 as opposed, it's,
Because the 55 was the, was
So
this
it's
year's
20,000 more. Cause it was 48? Oh, no, it was.
No, it was
It was
55.
55.
yeah.
I mean,
13,000, that
I'm
seems like quite
confused.
the deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
do they do
Maybe
HR
they only
policy
get
right now
$5
too?
over there.
Don't-
Base rate.
don't which.
But now what we can do on that department, okay, so we're adding there, but now if we come down to that nice big.
But did they not increase anything other than that? That doesn't seem like, that doesn't sound like them.
No, but that category does not just include their support. There's other items that go into that line item.
But it, other than that tech, it hasn't changed from this year.
Certain things in that line
So they took things out.
don't change. Well, no, they didn't take things out.
Oh, okay.
No, our contract,
That's cheap. Current contract is 55,000 for.
no, our current contract is not 55,000. What I'm saying is that contract line at 55,000 includes more than just Novus. It includes, I'm pretty sure it also includes our Microsoft 365 licenses.
Okay.
Okay, it includes some things beyond our contract with Novus. So our current contract with them. Oh, wrong page. Is 35,000. It would be going to 47. So it's an increase that, and then the additional be from the 47 to the 55 are all to the 68 are all the other things that we
Okay,
include on that line.
okay.
Now, what's the line item? I'd have to figure out what is, I want to mention, the clerical assistance line, the IT staff support. That number right now was budgeted at 25,000.
Mhm.
Which is the current stipend of like 1,500 a year. That number I'm proposing we drop to 5,000.
For 25.
The 25,000, drop it to 5,000.
Okay,
And that will bring that budget, that overall budget down to 127,350.
15. Okay,
Which is a 6.52% increase.
Which is a what?
6.52.
So the line that was for clerical assistance / TH computer staff support, you're recommending bring to what?
5,000.
so the 25 would have been hiring somebody full-time,
Part-time.
part-time?
Yes.
Yeah,
Instead, it's going from
instead it's gonna be an
15.
hourly stipend.
that we think is gonna be about $5,000 a year.
We don't know.
This is for someone to help with passwords and things like that, kind of, and
This is like your help desk type support. As opposed to relying on Novus for some of that.
Oh, because their tech will be here.
Their tech would be here.
That's stuff. Okay.
Yeah, see, based off of the information that was done, IT techs typically range from 30 to 35 an hour. So that additional,
Mhm.
so that comes down.
At these pay rates, I could think of what my 403B and my 401K would have looked like.
Does anyone want to talk about anything else? Going through any other department?
Nope, I want bottom line.
Oh, it's on.
I do.
Okay, great.
We've
Let's hit, I made notes of ones that I definitely wanted to talk to you about that I knew of changes that I felt were very reasonable and before. Oh, yeah,
Capital page 36.
page 36.
Page what?
36, capital.
We took a lot of items out of page 36.
Mhm. Oh, because we took some out of the operating budget and put it into capital, right?
Yes, we shifted, road money. Because there was a request for,
2 lines, right?
yes, there was a request for 250,000.
Hmm.
250,000 in public works. Yeah.
What does each row mean on this?
Pardon?
What do the columns mean? I'm sorry.
Okay, The first column is all the requests. The middle column is what we're proposing. And the last column was our holdover from last year's capital plan, what we thought we were going to budget in capital this year.
Okay, so we're going to hearing with the items on the right.
No,
No,
in the middle.
in the middle.
That says current year.
Yeah, I know that, but
24,
I missed changing the headings on that page.
Oh,
Katie
okay.
just brought
Oh,
that to my
okay,
attention.
Okay.
It's cool.
So doesn't, I'm just reading the headings and going, this doesn't look right. Okay. Mhm.
Now, one,
Okay, sorry.
okay.
What's the difference between in the middle section, proposed budget? There's a 350, then the 450 for roads.
Okay, because in the public works, I just have to find where the public works page is so that I can
That's what we got on the public item.
address it.
So it's combined.
page
That's what I wasn't
33.
sure.
Yes, we moved on page, the request from Dawn. Was for $250,000 in major road resurfacing. And we took it out.
And instead put another 100 in the capital.
And put another 100 in capital,
Okay.
because major road resurfacing is a capital project, they're capital projects. When you are doing major road work, it's a capital project. It's not something that's going to Band-Aid a
No, I understand. So we went from, he asked for 350 in the
Mhm.
capital.
Mhm.
And then in the operating, he asked for 250.
Yep.
We took out the 250,
Mhm.
but we only gave him
150. We only gave him
100.
another 100, correct?
100. That's it.
And because I had a conversation with Don. And he felt as though he agreed with me that major road work is a capital item. It's not a general fund project. They are roads that need major work done on them that will not need work done on them in most likelihood for another, 20 years. That's always the hope.
Okay, and we took out the backhoe.
Yep, we did.
It's,
I see the back row on here. no?
Well, the
140.
back goes here for 140. I'm not sure why it's not 170, not that I care, but
Trade-in.
it's
but
still
it's still
here.
here.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not under extended.
Oh, it's the extended is what we're.
The
doing?
extended is what we're looking at.
So it's just all that we're already,
Yes.
already. Excuse me, started.
So is the 140 gonna move into 2026 budget?
Yep,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
would move it
it'll
out.
Go in the.
In the 5-year plan? Perfect, I love it. Trailer, no.
Yeah,
Trailer, just no on that one.
well, that could go.
That's the speed, oh no, it's not the speed, oh, that's this.
Actually, the speed trailer is coming out. Dave spoke to me today. He said, please take it out of the budget.
No questions asked, done.
No questions asked. He said, take it out. He has found an alternative plan. He can get mountable speed signs that can be mounted to a speed limit, to a posted speed limit sign that will flash and let you know how fast you are going. It does the same thing. And it is $4,200.
And since we're not gonna do anything with the information gained.
And he has sufficient money in his equipment budget that he can purchase one this fiscal year.
Good.
Okay, and a clarification, Katie, he asked for 250 in the major road resurfacing and repair. He said most of that money is used for drainage related work. If it's not done for major road, if it's not done for a major road resurfacing, that's what he has been doing with that major. That's what he has been using that line for the last 2 years. So I took the 250 out of that line. I moved 100 to capital for paving, and I moved 100 to drainage and increased the drainage line. So that line is probably,
Okay, but that's in the operating budget.
that's in, because there was only 50,000 in there. I put I put the other 100 in there.
I don't get it.
Okay.
And the
it's-
wrap, what do you call it?
Rip wrap.
Rip
It's rip wrap, yeah. You call it something else, but I liked it. Wrap.
I call
So,
it my husband.
so if he needs to dig up
I
a
just
road
think
to
about it.
redo all the piping from catch basin to catch basin, that's now under drainage, because that's what it is. It's not a major road repair, it's a drainage repair. So we're just trying to classify,
The road.
Yeah.
we're just trying to classify it in what the actual, job is.
45 years. all the
so
time.
we didn't take
My road, which.
150 away from them, we only took 50
Never had
away
walked
from them.
over it.
We repurposed 200 of it to where it's actually being spent.
And drainage is done by a
And
third party.
Bill Bridger,
Some of it is, I mean,
so he's laughing all over.
someone else vacuums the basins. Yes, some of the road work to repair the catch basins when they need repair is contracted out, and others is done by the town. I mean, we do. I mean,
My road.
the guys are out there helping a
Never
third party if
grabbed
we
it,
need to
never.
bring them in.
Now we're doing it. Doesn't make sense to me, but
So the police cruiser needs to be approved, but is going to be paid from their fund,
Correct, it will be paid from,
but it still needs to be approved because
yes,
Over a certain amount.
it's over
Yes.
20,000.
he is proposing to pay for it out of the private duty revenue account, which at the end of the fiscal year had $258,000 in.
no, they probably could afford it.
I knew someone would ask how much money is in that account, so I made sure, I made sure I looked.
Well, the money comes in, but it also goes out to pay them.
And I was told by other auditors that often that is exactly what that account is used for large capital purchases, so that the town does not have to fund it. It comes out of that,
Good.
the surplus money.
But we are nevertheless out of the general fund paying the officers.
Not for the private duty, no. It is, that revenue and expenses run through that account.
The expenses do too.
Yes, yes, the only thing that the general fund pays for is the payroll related taxes,
Oh,
which,
and the
and
retirement.
the retirement, which is why I added a revenue line in the budget to cover those costs.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Makes sense.
so capital that we're actually paying for.
Their phones here.
It's a bare bones budget this year from a capital standpoint, and in some cases, we're kicking the can.
I thought the guardrails, they have to be approved.
Well, yeah, the question becomes what on. It's not, this is just funding. This is just the funding mechanism,
right.
620,000 for the budget. So the question becomes which items all the way over on the left.
Go all the way around, go into 27.
No, well, which go into 27 and which ones do we asterisk that we get approval for because we are finding alternate sources of funds for, like the police cruiser.
A lot of them, for example,
Correct.
the
HVAC.
the fencing,
Yeah.
low SIP, BAA fencing.
Mhm.
Where's the HVAC?
The fire department
Oh, yeah, yeah,
HVAC.
definitely.
Horse rings,
Mhm.
fencing.
Targeted
what,
road
we can-
guide, oh, yeah, that
We
one.
can put them out there, but we can put them in as, for the hearing as requested, but our recommended is 0, because that's what we were doing. I
For
think that,
which?
all the things that we're saying, not this year. We still have to disclose as having been requested, because we're supposed to be publishing, like, the departmental request, the selectmen's recommendation, the Board of Finance recommendation. All of them, which are not all on the sheet. They're all on like the.
But now the
Like this
LoSiP
one.
funding things,
Mhm.
don't they have to be part of capital?
They have to be approved.
Yes,
Right, so
Yes.
they have to move over.
Yes, but what she was just saying is that the only thing in that column is things that we're looking for funding for.
that we're looking for taxpayer funding for.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that's why the cruiser has to be listed, but we don't put,
We list it as a request. We list it as needing funding, but we list it with a code for whatever kind of grant funding or alternate funding sources we are using to pay for it.
About the horse rings.
Mhm.
Well, we certainly can mention that there was a request for it. Who requested it? Like just a residence?
it was in Don's. In
Okay,
Don's.
He requested it then,
Yeah.
okay.
We wanted the,
Well,
and
all,
the airport fencing and,
mhm. And the BAA fencing, the guardrails,
We didn't pay for the dog fence, so
no.
the dog thing,
we
so
did not.
how do we feel about paying for the horse
Yeah,
fence?
like, the town has paid to maintain them, but not with that kind of money. But that's because he's gonna do it right, if he does it.
And what?
We used to, they would give us enough money for a bucket of paint. And exactly how many posts or rails had to be replaced. And that's what they would give us, and it was all volunteer work.
Mhm.
And the rest of it was funded by the Lions and the Pony Club. But neither of them are using the rings now, so. Other organizations that have not paid for maintenance.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, does it make sense? Is it?
Yeah.
I don't really have a statement.
okay,
Let's move on.
Yeah.
getting late.
So, I mean, about salary increases.
Okay.
I just see 2.5% across the board. Is that, I
That is what is in the budget.
mean, how do we feel about that?
You have,
Public works, it's contractual, so that's not.
Okay, excluding public work,
Right.
excluding everyone except that is still getting 2.5%. Like, I'm asking everyone here, does anyone have an opinion on it?
this is another one of those things, we're caught between what we ought to be doing. In terms of our policies and our procedures and our job descriptions and having salary ranges and evaluations and all those things. And the market.
So if we don't put in any raises this year, except for the union. And we're going to look into getting all these policies, job descriptions, blah, blah, all done. Then why couldn't it be that once this is all in place, then you do initial evaluation of all the employees, figure out if they get a raise or not. If they don't, here's why you're not getting a raise, and start it next year. And you can take some money from contingency or whatever, that you have the money for those raises. Instead of putting it in a budget that where everybody, whether you know, come to work and sleep all day and I'm not saying anyone does that, but again, everybody gets the same
could.
amount, and that's
They
ridiculous.
could do that.
Mhm.
And they
You
would
know,
still
so
get
you're not gonna put the raise in the budget for July 1st, knowing that at some point during that fiscal year, hopefully things will be to the point where, you know, they will get a review and.
Can we do that? Maybe that's actually a
I have
really
no
creative
idea.
solution. Why don't we, following on what you said,
would
take the,
put 1.25 on the assumption that there would be an average 2.5 at mid-year.
Well, okay, I was gonna propose that we calculate what that 2.5% is, and instead of putting it on that line, put it in contingency. And then when the managers have done their performance reviews and, you know what I mean, like, then they can come and ask for a transfer. Or is that? I don't know, is that unreasonable?
I think we'll get. I think we'll get pushback at the town meeting, and I think we would.
From who?
Well-
You think citizens are gonna say, oh, you're not giving anybody a raise? Our taxes might be a smidge, ooh, that's nice, or how dare you not give all those employees raises? Because a lot of times you hear from them, I haven't gotten a raise. So I'm not, it can go either way, I just don't think townspeople are gonna be majorly up, the employees maybe, but I don't think the townspeople are gonna be upset that we're not giving blanket raises to every person in town. You know. And it's not like we're not giving them. It's just might be delayed a bit.
It might be delayed a whole year. I mean, we don't know how fast all the rest of this is going to happen. You know, I think we should.
What is the total amount of the raises? What is the dollar amount?
Outside of Public Works?
Yep.
At 2.5%, it is approximately $50,000.
We can fund it at 1.25, and if they want that, you know, I mean, like.
The rest of it has to also be there.
But if we're going to say it's 2.5, we're gonna fund 2.75%. Then it's no different, because that means nobody can get a good raise because they're doing a great job,
Yeah.
you know?
No, but it could be at the discretion of the manager of that group. He gets that bucket of money. Excuse me,
Yeah, they got to come in
OHB.
at 2.5% and
They can decide that
they
this
can decide
person,
how they're
Oh,
gonna.
by
divvy it up.
department.
Yeah.
So if the department 2.5% is $3,000, say.
Right.
They could give 2,000 to the number one employee. And if there's 4 other people, they can split that other 1,000 or whatever. Or get nothing.
And that's happened.
that's how it happens, like in the,
Okay.
in the
In the
real
real
Yeah,
world.
all right.
That's-
Yeah.
The only concern I have is just if that's gonna get done I don't think it's gonna get done for July 1st.
I don't think so either.
I just think there's a lot of work to do. I love this, I think it's a great idea and I love the idea. That's the only worry I have is, can we pull that off for July 1st or even close to July 1st?
I just think that we've had this conversation enough, nothing's happening, nothing is changing in the town hall. What, maybe if we have the power to promote people and we have the power to, we have the authority to define scope of positions, maybe we also have the authority to hold them accountable. I don't know.
How many people, employees live in Bethany?
Elected. Or just hired. Because you have to, I mean, there are some individuals that, I mean, the tax collector and the town clerk. Are both elected.
The treasurer is elected.
But they're still getting paid by us.
Yes, they are. So include
So-
those.
A decent salary too.
Okay.
You know, like
And
it's-
all right, all right.
not union, because they
Okay,
get their.
all right, I will.
I'm elected, but I'm not, I froze.
So the one, two.
Why do you ask?
Huh?
Why do you ask? Is there something?
I wanna know,
How many families,
16.
how many families have
16.
voted against the budget?
okay, the bottom line is, what is the mill rate, the way it is now, and what percentage of increase is that?
Right, ooh, no, wait, we just took money out. Let me see where we are. Right. Right now, we are at a 1.35% increase.
So if you put in a raise of 1.75, those 16 people. They're not getting a raise, they're paying it in taxes. You know what I'm saying? I just think, I just think that when you give a raise of like 1%. It's like a slap in the face, don't even bother. You know, I mean, it.
And
what's it gonna get you?
that 1.35% overall budget increase includes that 2.5% raise right now.
The amount was how much?
50,000,
Yeah,
which as far as a mill rate is nothing.
It's nothing. So
You know, you're gonna
And-
take that out, it's not gonna change a darn
The
thing.
only thing,
Except that it will really annoy all of those people who work for the town.
So leave it in.
So, and just, I mean, for comparative purposes, if you were to put in a 3% as opposed to a 2.5%. It's another $10,000 for that 0.5%.
Yeah, salaries, it's not driving the.
No,
No.
it's
Yeah.
not.
No, so it's not really worth a battle per se.
On a financial perspective.
you could still
picking
put the
people up.
dollar total and leave them in the lines, but they still could get reviews and give.
But they
up
won't
that-
get them, they won't get the reviews.
So
There's
they
no-
either get their raise on July first, or they, good possibility they
Oh,
won't.
there's no reason for them to get a review if their money is just gonna guaranteed.
But I
Whether,
think they should still, if there's a possibility that they get a review during the year, then I think they should, because that's going to tell them that next year, when we do this same thing,
You're not.
with this review, you'll get nothing.
Or
You
you'll
got
get more.
2.5% this year. Next year, you'll get nothing unless you improve this, and this.
but how can we, as a Board of Finance, make that happen? We can't. We've been asking for it
Well,
since I've been on the board,
We're trying.
7 years. 8 years.
Well, if we create this position, that position has to do this.
It has to do
Yeah.
it, or
They
else,
gotta be held accountable to
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So who?
Has got to produce.
Who's gonna, the Board of the first selectman? Who's gonna make sure they do it?
If you looked at the report on that job description, Katie, it said that person reported to the Board of Selectmen and the finance director.
Yeah, I did see that.
So,
It's weird, but.
No, actually, I looked at different towns and the HR person always reports to the finance person. I looked at Avon has a whole booklet of personnel policies. You should just copy it. And cut and paste.
I agree, I mean, you
You don't have
start
to pay
somewhere,
anything. Yeah.
you know, is Avon chartered or,
I believe they are.
Yeah, they have a town.
so you kind
council.
of have to find someone who's not
Yeah.
chartered per se.
There's,
Not that many.
there's 2 or 3 of us, that's it. That's
But
it.
it's still a good guideline.
Yeah,
Right, it is a guide.
they're
Relatively
guidelines,
small town.
they're
Yeah.
guidelines.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives you someplace to start.
Guys, I'm fed up, like, we've been having this, I'm in Groundhog Day.
It is. Let's put it in, go to the town meeting. If people object, then it comes out.
Put what in?
The 2.5.
Oh, they're not
They're
gonna
not gonna
object.
object.
Well, they're the ones who are paying the taxes. And
They didn't want a tax cut the 1 year, they didn't wanna cut the mill rate.
what? But you have to lower the line item appropriations in order to.
I don't think they're gonna pick on that.
And so our fund
No.
balance is what?
I mean, if we point out that they're getting 2.5 flat without any performance evaluation, they might then say, hey,
And
let's talk
that's
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why,
They get reviews.
and that's why we're doing this. Yeah, I mean, it's all, it should all be
I mean, you can cut
tied
all the
in
2%.
together. It should not be this way next year. Yeah, I don't know. It. What are you gonna do? I mean. We have very marketable people. We have some that are very marketable.
I am searching for your answer, Sally,
It'd be great if we can retain them.
because I can't remember that number. No matter how hard I try, I cannot remember what the fund balance is.
Oh, it's in the audit.
I know,
That's
that's
right it's right on at the front. In, I think I was in there today much, yeah,
yeah, I know, it's like, I know.
it's in like the second paragraph,
All right, I'm not on the first page.
okay. I love all those graphics. I wish I could cut and paste them to give
Was the
John,
PDF acceptable for you, John?
Yeah.
Okay.
um. Okay, so,
What PDF are you talking about?
The audit that I had sent to everyone, because he puts it into the
annual report.
annual report.
Put it this way, if it's not, they'll let me know right away.
So here we go, it's,
And they'll
it's,
send me an
oh no,
estimate.
this is the opinion, because that, it's after the opinion.
That's what I thought.
Doesn't matter, all the annual
So-
reports are messed up.
The managers, the report to management.
Management
this-
discussion
Yeah,
and
here we
analysis,
go.
there we go.
Okay, so at the, this isn't it, the general fund is,
All right, the general fund balance was
7.
7.4.
Which is what percent?
They're saying 27.
27. So that's why we're gonna take 600. Recommending taking 600 out to support the mill rate.
And what, and is that what the one she gave me is with the 600?
Yes, it includes the 600.
And that pushes the fund balance to where?
That brings it down to 6.8.
To what?
No, that it brings the dollar amount down to
The
6.
dollar amount down to 6.8 million
So
in the general
6
fund, if we take the 600,000 out.
6.8 divided by 27.2.
Oh, yeah, calculator.
Oh, did I just do that? Is that backwards? No. It isn't.
Add an extra zero. It would bring it down to 24.8.
And 25 is 3 months.
Yeah, that is considered 3 months of operating capital, that's it.
25 is 3 months of operating capital.
Yes.
Yeah.
And taking more out creates a boomerang effect next year. Because you're immediately going to have a lower fund balance and
Fire expenses.
probably some kind of growth in expenses. So it's gonna start, coming down. So 600 has to come out already next year just to be even. Before there are any potential increases next
All
year.
right, so are we pretty much done with the budget then?
Unless you guys want
I would really like to be able to send it as with tonight's modifications. For us to assemble it for the budget hearing. Where we should encourage everybody we know to come. And of course, the budget hearing is for us to hear what people say. Therefore, we should be there.
Did you guys discuss location at all?
Dis what?
Did you discuss location at all? potentially?
Not yet, not yet. We haven't got there. That was, we have to do this more stuff.
Katie turned the pages and there's more stuff. The dollar amount of the proposed budget with the changes that we've made.
Yeah.
Would be 27,227,436.
$27,200,000.
27,436. Which is a one,
7, and then the last three again, I'm sorry.
436,
Okay,
which is a 1.35% increase. The dollar difference on that is an increase of $361,800
$16
over last year.
over
Mhm.
last year.
It's actually 960.
Right.
Yes, it is.
We have to always be aware of that 600. That's.
Well, no,
from
that's,
the general.
that's the expenditure increase. That's all. That's all the expenditure increase is.
I'm thinking in terms of what we can cover. Yes. And you ran that through, all right, first of all, can I have a motion, please, to send the budget, the what would we call it? Preliminary, estimated? What do we usually
The
call it?
proposed budget for the hearing.
Well, yes,
I mean, it is, it's the proposed budget.
for the budget hearing. I'll have a motion to do
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
that. Discussion. This is subject to change, because in the next month, there are gonna be things that, there are going to be changes probably both ways, changes in revenues and changes in expenses, and then going up and down. And we're 2 months from when the town meeting is, things are gonna change after the budget hearing. Discussion. Those in favor?
Right.
Everybody, Lars opposed? You said yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see. Opposed, okay, so that's 5 and 1. All right, now, the hearing, wait a minute. Let's talk about the location of the hearing. At this time, we're hoping to have it here, right?
Yeah, I just don't know what this age situation is going to be.
Well, Don said it was supposed to be done by the end of the month, no?
I don't know. Right now, they still have a lot of cleaning and finishing up, and so, I mean, sound pads are, I was gonna give you an update. Sound pads are in, the camera's in, the projector's in. I don't know where the control panel stands, and I don't know if we got the ear things in yet for people that are hard of hearing.
Mhm.
So I think there's still some electrical work that has to be done. I don't know the time frame on finishing it. I
You
mean,
have an update on the time frame?
The last I had from Don was that everything would be functional by the last week
Of
of,
April.
Of-
I'm
of
sorry,
March.
March, yeah, and then training, and there would be training. that-
yes, there would be training the last week of March on how to use the
How to-
system.
Yeah, 'cause it's not helpful if we don't know how to use it. Right?
So at this point, we're tentatively, it's in the gym.
Correct.
Mhm.
And
April
3rd, what time?
Yeah, what time?
They're usually at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And we can frame that people should check the web page just in case, the last week, just in case there's a construction delay or something like that. I'll put it in the thing, all right, because I did that last year. Bold print, we are going to. Okay. Is there anything else we actually have to do? Oh, the audit update?
Actually, we do have to do.
Are they gonna present?
They want.
We do have to, as far as the audit is concerned,
We have to vote to accept.
we have, well,
Right?
they are willing to come and present their findings. They have proposed Thursday night, the 27th of March for that.
Thursday.
Okay, this will require a quorum. It can't be a workshop because we will have to.
At what
accept
time?
The audit. We haven't decided that. Are we good with this date?
I'm not here then.
Okay. You're not,
Tough day too.
okay. So that leaves four of us. We would all have to be here on the 27th.
I'm most likely good. Again, Thursday is not
I
all the
know.
best night, but
Um,
you know, we worked it out tonight. We can probably work it out that night. 27th
Today's
of
Tuesday.
March,
yes.
Of March.
trying to think. It's a Thursday.
God.
Jen is back from Puerto Rico. Okay, I can,
You'll be okay.
because if it was when she was gone, that would not work.
Was,
Yeah, I'm open right now.
okay. Katie,
I do have a child conflict. It would be tricky for me to arrange childcare for this one, so. But I'm looking at my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday look better, so.
Wednesday, I may need the gym, so.
Well,
just giving you that
We don't need the
heads up.
gym for this.
well,
What are we talking about? I'm sorry, this is
We're
the
meeting here.
Oh,
you may be having
I
a,
may have to have a special town
A
meeting,
town
so I'm potentially shooting for the 26th.
A special
so-
town meeting?
it's getting hot
Oh,
in here, right?
that's still not
It,
that.
it does, late.
Can I tell you, charge board?
I have died.
Oh, is that what happened? I thought you actually locked out.
No, it died. It's
Okay.
killed.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's that one.
All of a sudden,
This is the mouse.
No, I have a Dell.
that one today?
I have a charger. Do you want me-
You have one too?
Yeah.
Dead by Friday. It was like, oh my lord. And I'm,
Okay.
is it
This-
hot in here all of a sudden?
This, right?
yeah, all of a sudden.
It's.
Oh, I've never charged it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's money.
Bring it across and we'll plug it in.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, oh, I'm trying to. Samantha did propose another date that I did not include on the agenda because I'm out of town. I have a conflict with that date.
Okay. No, I didn't see that on the agenda. I would have been more prepared for that. All right, it. Yeah, we can schedule it.
Okay. We're almost done.
No,
Okay.
What time on the 27th?
What time would you like?
Is earlier better than later or later? What works? What can work? Nothing, I know nothing works, but what,
I can,
What's
if I'm getting,
worse?
yeah, it's. I mean,
Katie, what's best for you?
there's a scouts event. I don't know too much about it, and so like,
There's a-
it's 6 to 7, I think, so, maybe 7 would be better. If that's okay,
would that event be here in this building? Or would it be over at Center
I
Station?
think it's a center station,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So, 7?
Yeah.
Is that better?
okay.
We'll try, we will do that. 7.
Okay. All right, I will reach out to both. I'll let Samantha and Mike know tomorrow. But that day would work at 7. They were willing to come to this meeting tonight and I said, no, there is way too much budget on our agenda, probably the next 2 meetings to even come to the regular meeting in April.
Yeah.
I didn't think we would want that. Because if we're going to make any adjustments from the budget hearing, I was like,
Our next meeting is gonna be after the budget hearing, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Well, no, we're going to, well, our regular meeting, but we'll have a special meeting for, do you want to have it restricted to that item only? The audit on March 27th?
Are you proposing also talk about the budget if
Only if
possible?
you really want to.
But the budget hearing isn't until the 3rd,
The budget hearing is the next week, right?
so if we've already,
Yeah, I would leave it just to the audit unless something comes up in the next week or two
Yeah,
that we should
Unless we have
discuss.
some kind, we don't want to have an emergency, we don't. Okay. It will be a special meeting, and besides, we're going to have, after the hearing, we're going to have our regular meeting the next week, so.
And this hybrid, it needs to be posted 48 hours in advance.
What?
yeah,
It's hybrid. it
Yep,
needs to be
yes.
48 hours. in advance.
Yes. I don't know why I'm having trouble hearing. Okay, is there anything else we need to do? The chairman's report, I don't have to tell you anything because you already know about Amity. And I really don't have anything else.
Mine, I started to tell you about the gym renovations.
Yep.
The continuing renovations up here. They just gutted the little kitchenette area over here. Eventually, a couple of weeks, I hope to be doing the town clerk's section. They will be doing the bathrooms downstairs and upstairs. At some point late spring, early summer, I don't have exact dates at this point, but the state will be paving the northern portion of Amity Road from Judd Hill to the town line. As I get more specifics, I will certainly share that out. I believe Eversource has been around in town doing trees. The set's been getting a lot of calls from people. So, just be aware that they are around town doing that. And then I think that's it. I'll keep it short, 'cause I know. it's like-
Anyway, you were gonna mention something about a meeting, a town meeting?
Yes, I'm anticipating a petition tomorrow, so I will have to, I don't know what the exact question is yet, but I've been told that it's gonna be filed tomorrow, so then I have to do a quick turnaround. Because I don't want to bounce into the week of.
Yep.
Selectmen's meeting, public hearing and everything, so
Did the investigation complete? or
It
no?
is not
it
complete.
is not.
And the Parks and Rec position has not been, I heard that there was an offer accepted, so.
We will hopefully be making an announcement very soon, so. Fingers crossed. Okay, and that's.
Is there anything else that we have to do? No, okay,
I'll move.
okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody.
And
The worst
stopping
part
the-
of,
Can I stop the?
yes,
Yes, you may
Meeting is
stop the
adjourned.
recording.
The meeting is adjourned.